Apex Season 23 has brought us a massive shakeup in the meta and support legends as a whole, so I'm here to tell you who the best and worst legends are in Season 23. I'm not going to waste your time, let's get into it. Starting off with the supporter class and the buffed out, newly reworked, holy f*** she's strong lifeline. Her description of combat medic feels actually accurate now. On top of her still being able to tap revive, she gets another passive which allows her to glide in the air, which is actually really useful. Her tactical drop can now be attached to teammates so you can heal on the go, and her ultimate creates an invincible circular barrier that allows you to heal at the speed of light when you're inside of it. This isn't to mention that the support class got a massive buff as well. Small heals like cells and syringes double the healing amount, they move at full walking speed while healing, 25% faster revives, full health regen upon revival, and allied death boxes now spawn a Moby and they can see outside the box. Like, what? She's unquestionably S tier. Next, we have the big guy who's been pretty useless for 10 seasons, Gibby. Surprise, he's insanely useful now. Not only did his class get buffed, but he also got some pretty good changes. His cooldown for the bubble is now 17 seconds from the 30, and Crypto, EMP, and Maggie Ball can no longer break his bubble. He's also got a pretty good perk called Big Brother, which increases his ult radius by 20%. He's an absolute unit in the support meta, where shotguns are insanely strong, so he will unshockingly be in S tier. Mirage has roughly stayed the same, but support perks should be enough to bump him up a little bit on the rankings. He'll fool a couple people here and there, but ultimately doesn't bring nearly as much as his counterparts. His ultimate is useful again, as health bars don't give him away at least. C tier. Loba is still a very good legend to solo queue with, and still very good at getting your team whenever they need to gear up for a fight, or just simply disengage for a reset. She's useful in her own ways, but this season she's heavily power creeped by other legends in her class. C tier. Conduit has bounced in and out of the meta for a while now, and in a meta where it's a race to heal and stay healthy, she's right back in near the top. She also got a couple solid buffs to her passive Savior Speed, which will allow her to run at amplified speeds towards allies' death boxes, towards respawn beacons, and towards down enemies from all ranges. She's perfect for those who want to stay in the fight. A tier. Arguably one of the most powerful legends we've ever seen in Apex Legends, Newcastle. He received some insane buffs after already being S tier last season. Like, huh? What is going on? The support class already puts him over the top into God tier area, and then they go, here, have these buffs. His mobile shield will no longer take damage, and he can reposition the mobile shield while he's down. His knockdown while reviving got buffed by 50% per tier. His level 2 perk, Hero's Hustle, allows him to move insanely fast while reviving. And his level 3 perk, Ultimate Savior, allows his teammates in the impact range of his ult to gain a shield regen for 15 seconds. Again, what the He's Prime Seer and Season 7 Horizon levels of strong. S tier, but really SS tier. Up next, Skirmisher legends, who are the polar opposite of the support legends. Their abilities consist of looking at what's in the care package, and that's it. It's a proverbial atomic bomb versus a coughing baby situation. Octane runs fast and can pad from one place to another, and that's it. He offers almost nothing for the team and is a pretty selfish character in most cases. Anyone can be a god with any legend, but overall, he's one of the worst in the game. F tier. Alter feels like if she got a couple tweaks to her kit, she could be insanely viable. I would love to see her ultimate work 50% faster, but until then, as I said multiple times before, she's very gimmicky and her abilities are far more for style in a mass majority of situations. You can make the case for higher, but I'm going to put her in D tier. I also want to point out, I usually go a little more in depth if they have any change to themselves or within the meta, but if you want to learn more about the legend, I have past tier lists from Season 22. You can go check that out. I'll link it down below. Wraith will always have the ability to create big plays and get out of danger effectively, but it seems as we move deeper and deeper into Apex Legends, she just seems to get power creeped heavily. Whether it's because the meta has shifted, legends get buffed, or better legends come out, she always seems to get the short end of the stick. You can move her higher, but I don't see a use for her on any team this season. D tier. A legend that has withstood the test of time is Pathfinder. He's by far the best option to be aggressive and pounce on the opposition, all while being super team friendly. His perk Zipline Zen makes him a powerful option to rotate with your teams, as they all take 50% less damage while on it. In a meta where shotguns are strong and you need to move quickly, Pathfinder is the one non-support legend that fits. If you've made it to Season 23, congrats. We're going on like 3 seasons of Pathfinder being an absolute unit. S tier. Revenant and Horizon are both very similar aggressive legends that tend to get in your face and try to close the gap really fast. Horizon does it vertically, Revenant does it horizontally. Horizon got the tiniest bit of buffs to her perks, which now allow her to carry an extra battery, and Revenant got a small nerf, only regenning his ultimate up to 50 HP instead of an instant refresh. They're still really strong legends, however, this might not be the meta for them at the higher levels. The controller class got some cool changes last season, which helped keep them somewhat afloat. The extra bar of shield while in zone is insanely convenient early game, and then there's one legend that actually somewhat disrupts the support legend meta. Caustic is actually a solid way to force enemies to play outside the support's shields, and could be somewhat disruptive to the non-stop reviving / healing in a fight with a support legend team. He's not the best choice, but if you wanted to play off meta, this would be one of the better choices. He's still a chunky legend, but I think he belongs in C tier. Watson is a super solid choice this season, as her newest perks, Revive Expert, mimics the fast revive and healing regen of the support legend class. She's incredible at holding down the fort and stopping projectiles with her gen. She easily allows you to play in more open areas and stops you from getting nade spammed, but Newcastle already kind of does what she does, just way more efficiently. B tier. Catalyst is an overall super solid legend. She has solid rotation with her Dark Veil ultimate, a passive which allows you to reinforce walls, a tactical that draws out fights because you have to shoot it out. She's a very versatile legend and can accompany a lot of different playstyles from your randoms, but nothing over the top. B tier. Rampart got some really good buffs last season, which makes her an incredibly viable legend early game, especially if you're getting your ultimate almost instantaneously. The problem with her right now is that Sheila can't really do much against a Newcastle tactical, Gibby bubble, or lifeline ultimate, which is all you're really going to see in the higher ranks. She's still a really good legend, just a little out of place in the meta. C tier. Onto the recon legends, and one legend that hurts a ton with this meta is Vantage. Her ultimate sniper's mark is insanely strong and can easily get picks. The problem is if everyone's running support legends, that means whoever you knock or down is most likely going to get picked up and instantly healed. You won't even have a chance to effectively close the gap. Then when you're up close, your kit just isn't as useful. Her movement is still okay, but that wasn't the selling point of her kit. Pains me to say, but F tier. Another character gutted from the changes in season 23 is Crypto. Not one single character falls in and out of the meta as much as old Crypto. This EMP will no longer affect Gibby Bubble and already doesn't affect Lifeline Ultimate or Newcastle Shield. He's pretty pointless to play in this meta unless you're just gliding around in his drone when invisible. Did I mention that his drone takes zone damage now? Sorry, Crypto. F tier. Bloodhound is really good at letting you know a lot of intel, from his passive, which tracks enemy footsteps, and his tactical, which highlights enemies that you pick up on scan. This could be crucial for team fighting and knowing where to rotate. His ultimate falls off a little now that all recons highlight enemies in red, which is exactly what his ult does with a slight speed boost, but nonetheless, he's very convenient and easy to use. Easy and convenient doesn't always mean good though. D tier. Seer almost feels useless, as he's not the best scan legend and he doesn't provide anything in this crazy meta we're in. His ultimate is great at alerting you who's in proximity and also deterring the enemy to fight for a good while, but that's about it. D tier. Valk got some pretty good mid-season buffs last season that I never covered. She's now a recon legend and got a ton of buffs to her jetpacks, longevity, missile stun radius, and missile explosion size, and got a new perk, Eyes in the Sky, which allows her to see enemies through walls while skydiving. She's a sneaky good pick, and it's always a huge advantage to be able to rotate Godspot when it's most convenient for you. B tier. Lastly, Assault Legends. Up first, we have Bangalore, who's actually rather good at controlling the flow of a fight with her smokes and can alleviate a lot of pressure for you and your teammates. Her passive double time can be quite useful at escaping or for that extra strafe speed. With the shotguns in the meta, that's really good. Her ultimate is also a powerful deterrent, which can push enemy teams away from you or in some cases into you, which can lead to free KP. A tier, she's still really strong. Next up is Ashe, who can actually give pretty good intel with her passive Marked for Death, which highlights every death box less than 3 minutes old. She can also interact with death boxes who are taken out by another squad to find their location, which can all be really useful for rotational information. Her ultimate is a solid way to get height, and her tactical is okay at forcing fights. C tier. Next is Fuse, who is another legend that can be super pesky at creating space and force an enemy out of cover. Nades are often the most underutilized thing in Apex, and having them spammed at you can be near impossible to deal with at times. Fuse can double stack on the throwables, which makes him a very good aggressive legend. This might not be the best meta for him, since shields and gens will often negate him, but he's still an okay pick. C tier. Maggie's similar to Fuse with how she can push people out of space, but in her case, she's perfect for this meta because her drill goes right through all the shields and walls. We're also in a shotgun meta, and her passive Warlord's Ire allows her to run at holster speed with a shotgun out. This is all really good stuff, and she leans on the more aggressive side with her kit, which is also good because you're going to need to act fast in this fast heal / revive meta. A tier. Lastly, Ballistic, who is one of the best 1v1 tacticals in the game, but it takes a small amount of maneuvering to get it off. Now that the meta isn't really dominated by one gun, it makes putting a Mosaic and Beacon in a sling a little less desirable. I don't really see many redeeming qualities about Ballistic currently other than him looking pretty badass. D tier. There you have it, guys. These are just my opinions based off what I see every day in my day-to-day gaming on Apex, but let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Much love, fam.